What's a burlesque show?
People in like corsets and that dancing.
I've been to a show once.
I don't really know that much about them, to be honest. Don't know much.
Red lights. Those circular tables, like the little small circular tables with like the little lamp on it, the nice lamps. Pearl necklaces as well.
It was interesting. It's an art form, I would say.
I think like very sexual dancing, like very erotic, I don't know. That's kind of, those are the words that come to mind when I think of burlesque.
I don't know, I've never thought about it fully. It's an interesting topic.
Good answer, good answer. Perfect. Very simple. Thank you very much.
So my name is Bonnie Boo and I am a burlesque performer, dancer, lots of other things from Waterford City. I didn't start burlesque as a let's just do this one day, or I saw it and thought this is for me. It was a real natural progression. I've always danced and always loved comedy and characters and creating different characters using physical movement and my dance form. And I suppose I also have always been in touch with my divine feminine energy, and I just love the idea of just using your body and your sexuality to move in that way. So it was a real natural progression that I just started kind of joining slowly into it. Dance classes for me were like a little sideline passion. I enjoyed it. It was never a career thing. I've kind of consistently taught classes as an adult from my early 20s to now, with breaks in between depending on where I was in life. But it only came to be like one of my main earning kind of jobs in 2015, and it's because I was living in Brighton and I had to move back home because I was really ill and I was like diagnosed with an illness and stuff, and it kind of kept me here, and I started up the classes again as a means of income and something to kind of put my energy and focus into. And that's the year I decided to do all this creatively as a career. It was by accident. Yeah.
You got exactly what you wanted, Mr. Kruger. Your perfect royal nightmare, your rose garden massacre. It looked like such.
I would think of burlesque as being a halfway mark between the Folie Bergère and a strip club. Lots of feathers, lots of colours, dancing, eroticism, female form, storytelling. I didn't know before that it was based on mocking serious people, you know, or serious politicians or aristocrats or whatever, or serious everyday stories that were being mocked in a comical way. I didn't know that about burlesque.
I definitely have touched on lots of different styles, but I think my main thing is musicality, and within musicality obviously then you can have lots of different styles, but I love being able to hit music, hit the beats, bringing my dance background into burlesque. Love my choreography, and I love comedy, so bringing like comedic timing with like good musicality and maybe just boss ass bitch energy. I think that's my thing. Lots of slut drops. Yeah.
And I found the whole history of it interesting, and how it went into America, and how banning the alcohol in America for a while during the Prohibition had an effect on it, because they seem to link alcohol with it, which I think is a pity, because I don't think you have to do that when you have a form of art. You should be able to, you know, enjoy it without all that. But I suppose it's the nature of the eroticism that kind of brings that out in people. You know, they go and they have a drink and they're letting go at inhibitions and whatever, I don't know, you know. But
women in particular, I have a question regarding that. Are men involved?
There would be actually, alright, yeah, we were up in Dublin there filming a show recently, and there were actually just as many men there performing as there were women.
That would be a huge issue for me, if it was just women showing their bodies, whereas men are getting away with it. I realise now that I know striptease kind of thing is involved in it, but I checked actually, funny enough, today, and they actually go completely naked, some of them, which wouldn't worry me in the slightest, to be honest. Having said that, yeah, I'd be very okay with all that. Actually, I wouldn't mind going to see it.
Burlesque for me is a huge umbrella term for so many raindrops coming down on the umbrella. You know, for me, it's a space to express yourself in whatever energy or intention you feel or talent that you want to share on the stage. And it's like having a mini show where you get to just have fun, be emotive, be dark, be sensual, and just embody who you are, you know, being able to use all of the different strengths and talents you may have. And then of course, you know, burlesque is very famously known for stripteasing, which is a huge element of it, but you don't have to striptease to be a burlesque performer. But for me, I do love the striptease element as well. Yeah, it's great.
Donnie, you abused us for 4 long years. You sadistic freak.
I'm really lucky. I think the circles I'm in, the people that are around me are all really open-minded and kind of in the art scene as well. And so I've never really had to deal negatively with stereotypes, just curiosity for sure, where people aren't sure about it and ask questions. But in general, positive experiences, yeah, which is great. Times are changing, big time, as we all know. Like, lots of stuff is way more acceptable. I think reality TV really helped with that. People got to know real people and things got less judgmental and less kind of distant with different ways of living, I suppose. But again, like, I think I'm just really lucky that I don't, on a daily anyway, experience any of that kind of, you know, people expecting me to not be doing what I'm doing, or that kind of fear of it all, because it's fear of the unknown maybe. But I think as a whole in the country, Ireland's a lot more open than we give ourselves credit for. I think so. You know, of course, see, the people that shout about things, the things that make the news, is a minority. And I think the majority of people are either really open or don't give two shits what you're doing, really. You know what I mean? I do. So, I don't know. And then I could answer that in a different way as well, do you know, that way? But yeah, it's getting better.
So we're Irish, most of us anyway, and we've been going around the country to Dublin, Waterford, Cork here. Seems like the cities seem very comfortable with burlesque, but looking back to Catholic Ireland, and you're from the countryside.
Very Catholic background, yeah.
Do you think burlesque would have been welcome 30 or even 20 years ago?
Probably not. Probably not. I don't know if it would have been an underground thing, you know, and I think a lot of people would have considered it like brothel behaviour, you know, because of the lack of understanding and the lack of education around it, you know, and the whole religious power that the church had here at the time, where I think now people are more open-minded and they're exposed to more of that kind of thing on the internet and everything, so it wouldn't have the shock factor now that it would have had back then.
Burlesque is way more PG, I think, in comparison to other things that are on the rise, you know, such as like, there'd be like maybe different fetish nights, kink nights, swinger parties in Ireland, naturists, nudists, whatever they want to, you know, so there's lots of stuff like that going on. So burlesque, really, when you think about it, it's like, God, it's very, very tame, you know?
Killarney itself, probably fine. I think when you start going down to the outskirts, that's when the issues probably start arising, if you know what I mean.
So looking back on Ireland 20, 30 years ago, do you think it would have been...
No hope. not a hope.
Oh God, no. And not even, I'm sorry, I think even today, there's still, I do. No, I still don't think some of these people that are very, very religious would frown completely upon it. And that wouldn't be just down the country or isolated areas. I've known women in their 40s and that would frown completely upon that, which is insane.
Very intense.
Oh, totally, yeah. And pushing their opinions on you, you know.
It's that thing, I feel like older people, they say they're okay with it, but they'll make jokes about it. And that's to kind of soften the, the uncomfortableness they feel about the thing, like about burlesque even. If they were talking about burlesque, they'd be like, oh, it's fine, and they make crack a few jokes about it kind of thing.
Where I'm from is very quiet over the winter particularly, and it's so quiet there that anything colourful and energetic and far out would be welcome as a break from the boring norm, you know. It would have been something that they would have talked about for 20 years into the future probably, the time the burlesque show came to Valencia, you know. But yeah, I couldn't see that they'd have a problem with it, really.
Like, dance yourself free is my tagline, and I came up with that because, like I explained, when I moved back home and I wasn't well, and I was like, and I would have suffered huge anxiety, and movement is like my therapy. So my main focus is for people to move and enjoy their bodies and enjoy what their bodies can do, rather than be a technical 5, 6, 7, 8 dance teacher, which I can give that if people need it. But it's more so just about just feeling good in your own skin. There's so many other things that I've felt so proud about, and yet it's smaller things. So to become fully employed, self-employed in this would be a big thing for me. You know, winning the competition was great, amazing. So it definitely is one of my proud moments for sure, yeah. But I think being able to achieve all the little milestones along the way and to continue achieving new things and unlocking new kind of strengths in what I do, I feel are like moments.
I guess you can inspire a lot of people as well with what you do.
I have a burlesque joke.
Go for it, let's see the burlesque joke.
There's a kid, and he's at a burlesque show, and he stands up and he runs out. All right, and he's stopped by the doorman. The doorman says, "What are you doing? Why'd you leave?" And the kid says, "Because my mom said if I ever watch something like that, I turn to stone, and I can feel it start to happen."